librarian of the Los Angeles school system, Jasmine Britton, became aware of the Nielsens' financial difficulties, and in 1942 secured a commission for Nielsen to paint a mural in the library for the Central Junior High School in Los Angeles. In 1946, Nielsen painted another mural, the Canticle of the Sun, for Emerson Junior High School. But things were not improving, and Ulla and Kay decided to move back to Denmark. In January of 1949, they boarded the SMS Ernia for Europe. Work in their home country was no more plentiful than in Los Angeles, and the weather was much worse. By the end of 1951, the Nielsens decided to move back to California. They arrived in New York in March of 1952 aboard the Swedish MS Gripsholm and immediately boarded a train to Los Angeles. Thankfully, Kay had kept in touch with some of his former Disney colleagues, among them the background artist John Hench, who Nielsen described in 1951 as a friend of mine from Disney, a sweet and dear boy, or maybe a young man, now Walt's highest executive, 10 years ago a young painter with whom I worked for the last time I was at Walt's. He was a darling and still is, and has remained a firm friend of the two Nielsens. John had visited the couple in their retreat in Homburg, Denmark, the previous year. At Disney, work had begun on Sleeping Beauty, a movie that Walt Disney envisioned as a moving illustration. It must have been fairly easy for John to convince Walt to hire an illustrator he knew well to work on the project. By December 1952, Kay Nielsen was working again for Disney on a European fairy tale. His beautiful and playful character designs were as stylized as ever, his storyboard drawings as dark as in the past. Unfortunately, his stay at the studio was again a short one. Kay left Disney for the last time around April of 1953. Kay Nielsen passed away in utter poverty on June 21st, 1957. Talent had been his since he was a kid. Luck, however, always eluded him. Close to 30 years later, directors John Musker and Ron Clements convinced Disney management to greenlight an animated version of The Little Mermaid, released in 1989. At that point, John Musker recalled, "Story artist Vance Jerry brought to our attention the legendary illustrator Kay Nielsen's and the drawings he did in 1941 for a proposed animated version of Andersen's fairy tale that were gathering dust in the archives. Without Vance, we would never have known those fantastical drawings existed. Drawings which helped inspire the handling of the storm sequence, among other things. Artists, especially Disney artists, never die." To be continued.